This is a taboo topic that the physics community has tried to avoid. For half a century, everyone buried their heads in the sand like ostriches, pretending to not seeing the curse left by Einstein. That curse was born in 1935. That year, Einstein gave a war book to the entire quantum mechanics world. If you are right, then there are ghosts in this world. He firmly believes that as long as someone dares to follow his logic, he can clean the bottoms of quantum mechanics. But at that time, everyone was busy building atomic bombs and chips. Anyway, quantum mechanics is too useful in specific applications. Who cares if there are ghosts in the world? This metaphysical tangle was ridiculed as a pastime for old, muddle-headed people until 1964, when Bell of CERN accidentally picked up the war book. Bell is not a big man. His usual job is to design accelerators, but in his spare time, he will work on some quantum philosophy problems. He felt that Einstein was right, and that Bohr's gang were playing hooligans because Einstein's logic was in line with reality. If you put a pair of gloves into two boxes, one left on Earth and one thrown at the edge of the Milky Way, when you open the box of the Earth, you find that it is the left glove. Then you know instantly that the Milky Way galaxy must be the right glove. Is there a ghost here? No, because before you open it, who is left and who is right has already been decided. But you just don't know. Einstein believed that quantum was the same. They carried a manual of our not seeing and had already discussed the state. But quantum mechanics fly said no. There is no instruction. Before the box is opened, the glove has no left and right. They are in a chaotic superposition state of left, right, and right. It is the moment you open it that the Earth decides to become a left glove. At the same moment, the chaos a few light years away was sensed and immediately turned to the right. This is where Einstein exploded his hair. Light has to run for hundreds of millions of years. How can it be possible to know the results here instantly, unless they can telepathically, and the speed exceeds the speed of light? But this is even more impossible. Nothing can exceed the speed of light. So Einstein concluded that there were no ghosts in the world, and quantum mechanics must have miscalculated. Bell stared at these arguments and realized that Einstein and Bohr had been quarreling for half a century, but they were actually fighting and had to be played differently. Can this philosophical problem be turned into a mathematical problem? He pondered hard and finally deduced Bell's inequality. This formula is very complicated, but you don't need to know mathematics. You just need to remember that it is a lie detector of nature. He draws a red line between life and death, or a value of 2 if the particles are clean. As Einstein hoped, the data must stay below 2. Once the data breaks 2, it means that there is a ghost between the particles. This is the greatest written judgment in the history of physics. Bell has forced God into a corner. Either you are honest or you admit that the world is haunted. The written judgment is written, but no one dares to carry it out. In this era, when everyone is busy with high-energy particles, whoever studies this will destroy his future. However, history has waited for the first rebel. In 1969, Claus, a postdoctoral fellow, turned to Bell's paper. After reading it, his scalp became numb. He realized that he held the scepter of trial physics in his hand. He ran to a tutor and made sure to do the experiment, but the tutor warned him not to waste his time doing this rubbish science. Of course, quantum mechanics is right. Krauss is an extinct species since there is no fund. Go to the garbage dump to pick up scrap copper and rotten iron and make glass tubes. He pulled on another graduate student, Friedman, and made the first ghost-catching opportunity in human history in the basement of the University of California. In 1972, the experiment began. During that dark day, Krauss secretly prayed in his heart to let Einstein win. After all, who doesn't want to overthrow quantum mechanics and become a giant in the new era? But nature has no feelings, and the data broke through the red line severely. The result was greater than 2. Krauss looked at the data and felt a twinge of dizziness. He personally killed his idol's dream, that ghost that Einstein thought it was absurd to death, and the overdistance effect really existed. But this is not enough for a die-hard man arguing that there are loopholes in your experiment. The 2 detectors are too close. What if the 2 particles secretly collude with some kind of signal? We don't know. In order to nail this coffin plate completely, a faster gunner is needed. In 1982, Aspey improved this experiment. He pulled the detector 12M and added an ultra-high-speed switch. The 2 switches randomly switch directions every 10 nanoseconds. This means that the photon is still in flight, and before I can send the news that I am going to be tested to the other party, the test question has changed. He is racing against time, and the result is still ruthless and greater than 2. And quantum mechanics has won again. Despite the evidence, human rationality still does not give up. What if, in case? What are the ultimate cheats between particles, such as free will loopholes? We may think we are randomly choosing a measurement angle, but in fact, the universe has been determining what we choose at this moment since the Big Bang. If even our choices are doomed, then the experiment itself is a hoax. In order to plug this last, almost philosophical loophole, an epic cosmic bell experiment was staged in 2017. Physicist Zeilinger stopped believing in machines on Earth and set his sights on the depths of the universe. He uses starlight, 12.2 billion light years away, to determine the measurement direction of entangled photons on Earth. If the particles can still collude with each other, they must have agreed on today as script 12.2 billion years ago, before the Earth was born. This is simply a cosmic conspiracy theory, but the result is still flogging Einstein, and Bell's inequality is still broken. It seems that no matter how you struggle, nature will tell you to give up. The world is entangled. The end of the world is close at hand, and the ghostly connection that transcends time and space is the logic at the bottom of the universe. The 2022 Nobel Prize in Physics was awarded to the three rebels. Unfortunately, Bell died as early as 1990. It has been 87 years since Einstein proposed that paradox day. This phenomenon, once regarded as ghosts, has become our strongest weapon for making quantum computer found and quantum communication. But it brings us far more than technology. Classical physics once said that the universe is a group of cold islands. You are you, and I am me, and there is an insurmountable void between us. But quantum mechanics broke the gap with this boast sister. If at the beginning of the Big Bang, everything in the universe gathered at one point and had miscarried, then we would never really be separated. Even after 13.8 billion years of expansion, even though we are hundreds of millions of light years apart, every particle in the universe still maintains some mysterious breathing and sharing. When you're looking up at the stars tonight, please remember that it is not a monster. It is your unknown self scattered at the end of the universe.